I got a couple stories pertaining to the far left push, and you know I talk about this a whole lot. But from the Daily Caller, former Obama campaign official's message to socialists: don't hijack my party. You know, I had a conversation recently talking about the left and the Democrats and why I talk about them so much. Why Tim, someone who's been on the left, been very much a Democrat most of his life, or at least independent-leaning Democrat, not like a diehard political guy, why I would be so upset and concerned. Well, it's for the same reason this guy is. This is an Obama campaign official speaking to the Daily Caller, I believe, in an interview with the Daily Caller's Stephanie Hamill. This is an Obama guy talking to a conservative outlet saying they're going too far left. But I do have another story, because this story is particularly short, but it exemplifies kind of what I've been talking about. Take a look at this next story. Death by donors, the untold story of Think Progress's demise. Media observers commonly point to plummeting ad revenue as the cause of the leading progressive outlet's death. But the truth is much more complicated. Now, it may seem these stories are completely unrelated, but trust me, they aren't. What we're seeing with this story about Think Progress, a very far left site, is that they don't have donors anymore. So let me stress this. Think Progress ran on a deficit. It was a progressive news website. It did make ad revenue, but they lost big donors. This led to the collapse of Think Progress. So think about it. Here's the conclusion. Here's the assumption I will make. Granted, it's an assumption. When you have former Obama officials saying, don't hijack my party, when you have CNN running op-eds saying, when did Obama become a Republican, something becomes clear. The people on the moderate left are no longer willing to support this. Think Progress starts defending socialism, starts embracing wokeness, and the donors vanish. A former Obama official says, you're going too far left. It's tied together. Regular people in this country, the rational, moderate left, are not having any of this. And because the 2020 Democrats have begun embracing such absurd insanity and far left, I don't even like saying far left, because what's happening is they take existing rhetoric and then go nuts with it. Julian Castro says, I think we should decriminalize illegal border crossings altogether. So then Bernie goes, let's just not deport anybody anymore. What they do is they take one policy and advance it and make it more extreme. Bethe ORourke is now calling for a mandatory confiscation of legal products under the Second Amendment. So they one-up each other to this point where they lose the support they once had. These are Obama people. Let's read this story. Read a little bit of the Daily Beast, but I do want to talk about this. I didn't highlight this in the last video I did talking about the shift, but I want to do it now. But let's get started with the Daily Caller. It is very short. Before we get started, head over to timcast.com/donate if you'd like to support my work. There's a PayPal option, a crypto option, a physical address. But the best thing you can do, share this video, especially talking about issues like this that the establishment doesn't like. Now, admittedly, the Democrats are fractured between the progressive wing that's taking over and the dying establishment base. But both sides don't like being called out. And that's what we're going to do, at least a little bit. So if you like the video, consider sharing it so that we can break some echo chambers and help get past YouTube's deranking, etc., etc. From the Daily Caller, they say during a sit-down interview with Daily Caller Stephanie Hamill, he said, this is Robin Bureau, he said there were still people with common sense in his party and that the majority of Democratic voters aren't socialists. The people making the decision, the elected officials, they're going so far left, they're losing our core voters. Yup. And they're all going to Trump. Okay, not all of them, but a lot of them. Bureau also went on to say, when it comes to 2020 Democratic candidates, that former Vice President Joe Biden wouldn't be his first or even his second choice. Now, they essentially want you to watch the interview, but I think this is great jumping off context to talk about the next story. And that's the lead, right? I'm probably going to title the video with this in that capacity, because I think that leads into the more important story here. Or I'm sorry, that's the more important story, but it leads into stories like this. Think Progress at one point had $1 million donation. They started losing donors. In this story, they go through how they're claiming they couldn't generate enough ad revenue for their progressive news website, but in reality, revenues were actually up. So I don't want to read through, they rehash a lot of the old details that I'm really not super concerned about, but I guess we'll just, let's read this. Okay. They say, Quote, like most media organizations, Think Progress has relied on advertising revenue as a major source of funding, increasingly subject to the behavior of social media platforms and their decisions on news distribution, Nyack told the Daily Beast back in early June. Like so many other news outlets that have relied on advertising to fund its work, Think Progress has seen a significant drop in revenue in recent years, along with other financial strains. It's true, their ad revenue is down. However, it started to uptick. This, I think, is them trying to hide the fact that the core Democratic base is abandoning the progressive cause. They don't want, I don't want to say progressive cause, but they don't want to get behind the far left insanity. So look, the people who have money in the Democratic Party run businesses. So they may be left-leaning, but they're probably not going to want to give away all their money, give healthcare to non-citizens, decriminalize border crossings, and confiscate everyone's legal property. That's just too far. So let's read on. To underscore these assertions, Nyack noted in his May budget document that advertising revenue in 2019 was expected to come in under $500,000, which would have been the budgetary equivalent of a 5-alarm fire. But that projection turned out to be more dire than what ended up taking place. A new internal budget document obtained by the Daily Beast and authenticated by two sources showed that Think Progress was on pace to bring in $618,000 in ad revenue in 2019. That uptick was credited to a better than expected June and July. Ad revenues would still fall short of what the site brought in 2018 and well short of what it had budgeted for 2019, but it was roughly $120,000 more than had been projected when Nyack had crunched the numbers in May. By no means did those numbers mean that Think Progress was on solid financial footing. Indeed, top officials at CAP, that's the Center for American Progress, I think that's what it's called, still concluded that without a more significant uptick in ad revenues, the think tank could not rationalize paying the tab to keep the site afloat. A third budget document provided by officials at CAP showed that from 2012 to 2017, the think tank never had to cover more than $915,000 shortfall for Think Progress. But in 2018, that shortfall skyrocketed to $2.3 million. So basically what they say is they lost big donors, and they're also not getting ad revenue. The first thing I want to point out, segueing from the story about the Obama campaign official, is that, the point I just made. Big donors and people who want to see the Democrats win think the Democrats are probably going too far, or for whatever reason, the site couldn't get the donations it needed. But losing ad revenue is also another really important point. People weren't watching or reading this content. They weren't looking for it. So the more Think Progress tried to push this stuff, it just didn't work. If you're not going to get ad revenue, and you're not, actually, let me put it this way. Vice layoffs, Vox layoffs, Disney writing off its entire investment in Vice, Mike.com's fire sale, Think Progress collapse, all of the woke media collapsing for whatever reason, exemplified by what this man is saying. The left doesn't like it. Then you have someone like me, Tim Pool, producing 6 segments every day. Revenue is through the roof. And I just talk about my opinion. You know why? Moderate people, rational people who once voted Democrat are watching me. They're not interested in you embracing the fringe of the fringe. They want a rational and strong center. And I am moderately to the left. I am a moderate leaning left, like most people. Most people in this country, it's like 60-something%, do not belong to a political party. The parties are like 30 and 27% or something like that. The average person in this country is an independent and willing to vote whichever direction makes the most sense. So why is it then that my company is expanding? We're fundraising like crazy. We're about to, move into a bigger office, hire more people. Things are going great. And these companies are all collapsing because it's exactly like former Obama campaign person says. But let me give you this fact-based example. People often say that, you hear from the left and you hear from the media that Trump has gone far to the right, the far right is taking over and all that nonsense. Oh, please. This is from the New York Times, and I know I've shown it before, but it's relevant here. We can see that from 2012 to 2016, Trump has moved the Republican Party to the left. Not entirely on his own. The party itself slightly moved to the left. We can see in 2008, it went further right. This is based off of the Republican manifestos. So these are things put out by Republicans explaining what they want to do and why they want to do it. Look at the Democrats. What happens if you're a regular person who voted for Obama twice? So you're in between these two lines, right? You're probably right here because in 2012, he moved further to the left. You're right here. You're an Obama voter. Now they're all the way over here calling you far right. Yeah, people are probably going to be fed up, not interested, more importantly. Why are the Democrats veering so quickly and so far to the left? And I have to stress, since this only goes to 2016, add 2018, it will be even further left because of the rise of the far left Democrats like the Squad. You now have people like me who are slightly to the left of Obama on a lot of issues, and the Democrats, definitely the rest of the Democrats, now looking at a party that has skyrocketed, just launched itself so far left, and here I am being called a conservative and Trump being called far right. Let me just break it down for you. Why is Think Progress failing? Why is woke media failing? Because of what you see from this, okay? We recognize it. We can see that the party is being hijacked, and I don't think there's anything they can do about it. Gallup shows that the party is becoming more and more progressive. So don't be surprised when there's a backlash, when your woke media fails. Just because you as a politician are embracing this doesn't mean people like it. Many people will just vote Democrat. They're going to be like, I don't know, man, whatever. But a lot of people, the majority of the people in this country who are unaffiliated, are not going to be having it, and they're going to be like, I'm either not going to vote or I'm going to vote here. So you're going to get a lot of moderates and independents voting for Trump because he has moved the party slightly to the left, and you can look at the data and it's there. But the Democrats have lost it, so much so that their media, the woke media is collapsing. Former Democrat, people are coming out and saying, absolutely not. You're hijacking the party, and regular people don't like it. So, I'll leave it there. You get the point. Maybe a little convoluted, but the general idea I'm trying to convey is when you see the collapse of woke media, partly this story, Think Progress, is they lost donors. Big, wealthy individuals who wanted to support democratic and progressive causes are out. They're out. And so look at it this way. Obama's campaign people are likely the people who would have donated, and they're saying, nah, I'm not interested in this woke rage bait nonsense. And regular people aren't watching anymore. There you have it. I'll leave it there. Stick around. Next segment will be coming up at 4 p.m. youtube.com/Timcast. I will see you all there.